Hi, I'm Rosemary, and I created iheartsf. iheartsf started as an art project inspired by a friend's tattoos of San Francisco landmarks. iheartsf was born more than 15 years ago. But first, I want to say that I'm an S Corp, 100% owned by me, no investors. I'm not affiliated with iHeartMedia or iHeartRadio. I have 4 U.S. and pending trademarks on the name iHeartSF, the domain iheartsf.com, the podcast in the name iHeartSF, and a full retail e-commerce line featuring augmented reality. iHeartSF will be the first for-profit company to use its revenue from the profits of the advertising of iHeartSF.com, the podcast, and the merchandise lane to purchase old residential hotels and other properties in San Francisco, renovate them, and turn them into transitional housing for homeless families, specifically those with young children. Having lived in the Bay Area my entire life as a true humanitarian and having volunteered most recently picking up trash in the Mission, San Francisco, Tenderloin, and other places, I've seen these people and looked them in the eye. With lived experience and a clear vision, I know that I have what it takes to have a different approach to the homeless population in San Francisco. So while others debate, argue, and play a game back and forth with the money, I'm gonna do the work. We're made up of a group of humanitarians, not philanthropists. We're gonna get the work done, quite literally one human at a time. We're going to get and help these people transition back into functioning members of society. With that said, the podcast, iHeartSF, our content will range from what's made San Francisco beautiful from its origins to what's made San Francisco beautiful in 2025. We're an amazing, quirky, beautiful city that's known globally. I'm gonna take this domain and do some good with it. And with that said, this can be done in any city, USA. It's an amazing business model, and I am looking for an organization to take us next level. I know there's somebody out there that wants to work with us, because we're gonna do some really great things in San Francisco. It's time. We're gonna change the narrative, and we're going to be amazing.
Trying to shop a deal from Taco Bell to TRL.
Hi, I'm Rosemary, and welcome to iHeartSF's very first podcast. We're here at the Mark Hopkins Hotel. They've been kind enough to host us in their California suite. How lucky are we? With the most iconic views of San Francisco. I couldn't think of a better place to start iHeartSF's very first podcast. Let me tell you, the way this started is pretty funny, actually, I think so. So last year, it was the NBA All-Star Game. And Charles Barkley, I remember hearing, makes this comment about how San Francisco will never host the NBA All-Star Games, how horrible our city is, how dangerous it is, and how trashy it is. And about the same time, many articles are coming out about how terrible San Francisco is. And Draymond Green, he steps in and he says, what are you talking about? He rebuffs his comment and says, no, San Francisco's great. And then Charles Barkley comes back and goes, well, you can't walk down the street without a bulletproof vest. And in that moment, I thought to myself, fuck you, Charles Barkley. And thank you, because in that moment, iHeartSF's podcast was born. And I thought to myself, there's so many people talking negatively about San Francisco and, just really badly. And I thought, we are an amazing city. We're quirky. We're why our homes are millions of dollars, why the entire tech industry is here. And fuck you, Charles Barkley. You're from Los Angeles. Do you not know DTLA? How are you talking bad about our city when your city is not any different? Nope. And in that moment, we're getting, doom and gloom articles about us, one after the other. And I thought...
BIP City.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, iHeartSF, the podcast, what a great way to change the narrative of San Francisco, to bring out a better perspective of, who we are, change the perspective of San Francisco. We're an amazing city. Yeah. We're globally known, and we're quirky, just like me. But more importantly, that's why everybody wants to come and live here. That's why our homes are millions of dollars, and the tech industry was born here. It's actually that tech industry that kind of caused this, have and the have-nots, and made the gap a lot wider, to be honest. And Charles Barkley, I appreciate you, man, because with this podcast and the advertising that it's going to make, I'm going to take the money and I'm going to clean up the streets of San Francisco. And then you can come back here and stop talking shit about us. No, sorry.
I mean,
but actually, what I did want to say, which is really important, the reason that we're dropping this podcast today, the NBA All-Star Games, which is going to be hosted here at the Chase Center.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go back to Los Angeles, sir.
Mm-hmm.
It is here. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay, I'm done. With that being said, today we're going to get started with my friend Cesar Dominguez and Hella Frenchies. What is more iconic San Francisco than the word hella? I mean, let's think about it. From the west to the east coast, wherever you go, you drop the name Hella, and they know automatically you're from the Bay Area. So welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having us. So thanks for the introduction. I also want to let you know that I couldn't do it without my best friend here, Jeremy.
Thank you for coming, Jeremy.
Thank you for having me.
The support that this guy's, brought to the table, being the best teammate. I mean,
That's
the knowledge
awesome.
he brings. It's just like if I don't got the answer, I know my guy got it. So there's a lot to it to these Frenchies, and that's why we're here today to explain to you guys that it's not just a dog. First of all, there's science behind it, there's love behind it, there's compassion behind it, and we're here to educate everybody so that these guys can have, a fruitful life. We don't want them to, be here just for a short time because it breaks all of our hearts to lose our best friend.
It does. And what we want to point out is there might be a negative connotation for quote unquote breeders. We're here to shed light on that there are people, especially throughout the Bay Area or throughout the community of breeding dogs, that breeding is essential. It is essential for people to get healthy dogs, to get animals that do not suffer from these different ailments that can plague certain breeds or, have disabilities in things such as being socialized or other things that people can, not understand, or there can be, different thoughts or, connotations about. And what we want to do here is
there's lots of thoughts about breeders.
Help bring,
perspective is amazing.
Is.
People have a certain perspective on breeders. And what we're here to do is change that perspective. Perspective is everything. Change your perspective, you change your life. But, Cesar, I wanted to ask you, the word hella, like I said, it's a very iconic word. Can I ask, why you came up with this word, Hella Frenchies, the whole kit and caboodle?
Well,
let's start with that.
Let's talk about, where it came from. So I would say about in the 70s where it just started coming out, but thanks to, one of the best artists in the Bay Area, which is E40.
Yeah.
He has a song that he made that just threw the word hella out there.
Suckers hella jealous 'cause you're digging me.
And you can't be anywhere in the world really without saying hella and people be like, this guy has to be from San Francisco or the Bay Area itself and Northern Cali as a whole. So that's why we went with that, because it's a staple to the Bay Area, and we just want to tell the world, hey, we're Hella Frenchies, and we got one hell of a product. And guess what? I'm going to bring the most happiness to your family because we hella love these guys.
Yeah, no, he's true. He brought me happiness.
Really
he brought me happiness with Tank. And actually, that's how I met Cesar. I met Cesar. I saw him on Instagram. I had this idea of getting, a dog. Actually, I wasn't even necessarily interested in Frenchies. And, I met him. I met you. And it was, it felt good. You felt like a good, solid, professional person. I actually had tried to buy a Frenchie previously, and I ended up returning the dog within 24 hours because it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like he was a breeder, and the situation it wasn't right. So a year later, I find you, and I think, you know what, and so here we are.
It's just like as soon as I meet somebody and they show some interest, I'm like, okay, wait for it. There's red flags for all of us breeders in the people's most perspective. So I'm like, okay, what is she gonna ask to see if I'm actually a good breeder or a backyard breeder, or a puppy mill?
That's what that guy was, kind of like a backyard breeder.
How did I stand out to you to say, hey, I trust you to get a Frenchie from you?
Oh, you know what? You were super knowledgeable. Words are very important, and you had the right words. You knew what you were saying. You said it with confidence, and you gave me like lots of examples, and you showed me lots of pictures. I'm a visual person, so I picked up on that, and honestly, I could pick up on people's like energy. So a lot of it was just like you felt right, and believe me, this dog Tank, he's right for me. So it worked out. It's just it's a whole how you say, like it's a whole product. You know, it's the whole.
It's everything as
it's
a
everything.
whole.
Yeah.
This is it's a very emotional thing. You can't. It's
emotional,
not. It's
yes.
not a product. It's a living life form,
Yeah.
and it needs compassion. You can't just. I can't just give you a dog no
No.
matter how much you had in your pocket. It's not about the money. It's about making sure this dog's gonna have a responsible owner. It's gonna be taken care of. You can fulfill all the duties that this animal needs to thrive.
And you got me ready for the dog. That was the
Exactly.
important thing. You answered all my texts, you answered all my phone calls, all my questions, and I mean, it really is a baby. I mean, I've raised 3 kids. You know, I've got older children, 22, 21, and 18. Yeah. And this is really like being a mom for the first time because dogs are different. They need a lot. And if you're going to bring a living being into your home, you know, you want to do it right. So tell me, what led you to breeding? How'd you get started?
Well, I started seeing these guys pop up slowly in the media with the celebrities having them. And I said, man, it's kind of like, it'd be a dream to own one of these guys, and I see the characteristics, and they're called like the clowns of the dog community.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, I mean these guys.
Very much, yes.
Man, they can ride a skateboard. Batman here can ride a skateboard. He can shoot a basketball hoop. Yeah. I mean, he does.
They're
so
a very
many
diverse.
things.
Diverse breed. You can have them from living in an apartment to being, in the country. And the thing with our dogs that we, try to impress on everybody else or potential clients is that our dogs are healthy enough to be able to do whatever you want them. If you want them to be a lap dog, they can be a lap dog.
Yeah.
But if you want to do such things as where we just had sold a Frenchie last year that is a hunting dog. It goes out and they take them out and they hunt upland game birds, which is, quite unusual for a French Bulldog.
Yeah.
From my background, it's more of like golden retrievers or Labradors.
A bigger dog.
Bigger dogs or dogs that are more known for their working status, not French Bulldogs. But one thing that we like with our breed and our bloodline is to have healthy dogs that have the ability to do whatever their owner might envision for them for their life.
So you get them ready.
Yes, we get them ready not only with their health, but also with in speaking to potential clients and their needs and their visions of what they look like for a dog, because that's another big thing.
You match the right dog to the right owner.
What people don't understand about breeders is like they have this expectation of I want a puppy.
Right.
And I want that puppy or the puppy that's popular, right? And don't understand, like you said, all the different nuances or things that come with owning a puppy, especially a Frenchie puppy that have all these slight or can have these different health issues or variations or
things that you have to be really careful about.
Yes, that other dogs you don't have to worry about because of their shortened snout or their other statures or with other breeders like their ability to do activities because they have the more truncated snout or because they are shorter to the ground or because they're wider. There's certain things that go on with the breed that if you're unknowledgeable, it could potentially set you up for very expensive, doctor's bills and unhappiness because, basically for a lot of people, these animals are their kids. And
they really are.
The main thing is to be able to spend as much time as you can with these people or these animals that you have created this bond with, and for that to be shortened unfortunately because of a overlooked health condition or something that wasn't looked at or thought of by somebody that is trying to breed, that's why there are these bad, thoughts about breeders.
The perspective, the negative perspective.
The negative perspective is that breeders are only in it for the money. Well, we don't do anything in life. You can't do anything without money being involved because unfortunately life costs, right? You have to do certain things to, function. And part of, what we do is to enhance or make sure that people can enjoy these dogs.
Jeremy, tell us your background.
My background is for the past 20 years, I have been a wildlife biologist in California. And my specialty or my focus for wildlife biology is endangered species of California.
So how'd you get to work with Cesar?
I met Cesar by actually buying a Frenchie.
Because you breed together now, right?
We now breed together. Yes, we are now partners. And one of the things is I bought a Frenchie. I come from a breeding background as I breed European Doberman, have been since 2008. And so I was always kind of in the thought of I wanted to breed, utilitarian dogs that had purpose.
Right.
Very anti-Frenchy, anti-dogs that I thought were kind of fad dogs or, quote unquote exotic dogs.
Designer dogs.
Yeah, designer dogs until I got one. And then I fell head over heels in love with their personality, everything. And with my biology background, I wanted to, and already being a breeder, I wanted to ensure that the people that, potential clients or anybody was going to receive the healthiest dog that they can.
That's amazing.
For me, my dogs are my kids.
Right.
So I can't imagine not spending the most length possible with them. And with that, I was seeing a lot of breeders take advantage of people with
money, you think?
For money or whatever.
Like a money grab kind of thing.
Possibly, especially during the pandemic. It was the kind of thing where, hey, what are we going to do now? Oh, I'm going to buy a Frenchie and breed. So it was kind of the thing. It was kind of how
happening. All right.
He was not easy to convince. I mean, if he's already coming from this background.
Yeah.
So it's some things that
with your background, knowing what you know about endangered species and meeting Cesar, what was it about Cesar that drew you to him? I mean, you could say the same thing. This guy's pretty cool.
His view on responsible breeding and wanting to enhance the breed to make sure that people can enjoy their animal or their potential family member as long as possible. Because I was tired of seeing friends or family members or even just random people that I would see, on social media. Is tell these sob stories of how they would buy. The happiest day of their life was when they received their Frenchie puppy.
Okay.
The saddest day of their life was the next year or 2 years later when that puppy happened to die of some medical issue.
That?
Yeah, and what is a huge issue.
Oh, you're saying because if they become from a non-responsible breeder, they're not getting all the information that they need.
For people that aren't doing the proper, pre-test,
treat the dog properly,
do the proper,
because they need a lot of care.
They're just like people.
And that is the perspective that people should take on responsible breeding. That when you get as much information as possible, then it's I would say quote unquote okay to buy a puppy.
That's why I say responsible breeding is in people that understand that without people that are into doing the breeding correctly with all the different health tests and pre-screening and even post-screening,
there's a lot to it.
There's a very big nuance that people don't see that is like, hey, I want a puppy. They get it. It makes them happy, but they don't understand.
Some people have kids the same way.
And they don't understand that there is a big, nuance or issue that can potentially go in if you don't do the correct planning, or pre-care for yourself.
I kind of compare it to the homeless situation in San Francisco. These people, they need a lot of care, a lot of love, and a lot of hugs. They need nurturing. They don't need a hotel room for the night.
Giving them more space to sleep, right?
No, it's not.
I think the big issue
Teaching
is
them
more
how to.
It's knowledge. It's giving them the applied availability to learn things to help their situation.
Them how to fish.
Teach them how to fish. Change their perspective. Not view things as mental health and other issues are becoming more prevalent and more widely known about. That we should be focusing more on things that how can we make this sustainable? How can we make them, help themselves? And that's a lot of what we're doing as breeders.
The clients to help themselves.
Yeah, we want our dogs to not have these incredible issues.
That's right.
That they are, thought of to have.
Exactly.
And to be just here for the people to bring them joy, because that is what makes me happy, and that is why I other than trying to make sure that that is what brought me into breeding is I want the joy that handing a person giving them a healthy dog that is going to bring them 10 plus years of happiness. And that is what drives me to continue responsibly breeding, to bring these dogs to those people, because without that they're going to have these quote unquote backyard breeders or all these dogs that have what I think have sprung from the pandemic, to people that are like, oh, I love this dog, and then they have the unfortunate situation of where
they're not paying attention.
There's vet bills, there's these other things like, yes, you might get a dog for a great price, but like you said with kids, do you sometimes people don't understand the associated costs. Like,
The associated costs. That's true. But I think Cesar does a really good job.
He does.
Of giving you did me a really good job of letting me know exactly what was part of the package of getting the dog.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
I mean, if
We
there's
wanna
anything
be
you'd like
very
to add.
upfront.
Jeremy caught wind before we even met that I was the whelper. And there was like a
He's
name
the
for
go-to
that.
person.
And that,
I'm telling
when
you.
they say that
Hella Frenchies is where you want to go when you want a good dog, like
I came from
a healthy dog.
the ground up of
You sure did.
like knowing from
You taught
every
yourself,
little
right?
thing.
It's self-taught.
Self-taught, and it's
Hustler.
hey, if I have a pup that's not doing well, I'm gonna do everything in my hands that I can do to make sure this puppy thrives and make sure it goes to somebody who can afford and also has the time to let this pup thrive. I can't just. But hey, I got a puppy for free. Everybody would love to take a free Frenchie, but that puppy would end up in.
You just want to make sure that they
and with
responsible
Correct.
clients.
Yeah,
and me coming from the background of whelping for multiple different kennels in the beginning when I started, that's how I self-taught myself. And I went and told myself, you know what, I'm done doing this for people who don't have the same ethics as me and values. I'm gonna do this for myself and actually make a brand that's staple.
Oh, so wait, are you saying that people came to you for advice and then you decided, forget giving it to the other people, I'm just going to start my own little business?
Correct.
And that's where it was born.
Yeah, we decided that our time for
so you were
people,
like consultants at first.
Yeah,
and
basically
then
that's how it
said,
happened.
you know what? I'm a little bit better than. Good for you.
Yes.
Same,
we started
same.
valuing ourselves and our time because unfortunately,
valuing yourself
a lot of the stuff or the associated costs come from dealing with veterinarians, right? And a lot of times they can be extreme and very vague on what is going on or actually how to treat or handle your issue or situation.
That's amazing.
And what, like he said, what we have learned or self-taught ourselves through our own research and trial and error are the things that are able to help these dogs live a healthy and happy and fulfilled life with their
and their owners knowing what to do.
Yes.
And I'm going to bring it back to iHeartSF and what we're trying to accomplish here, and it's kind of the same thing. It really can be with the homeless people out there. I want to help them become functioning members of society.
Yes.
We want to give them the skills and the knowledge so they can help themselves. Like you're giving people like me the skills and the knowledge to have a beautiful pet to last a long time.
To be able to,
it's kind of the same.
want to continually keep and have
that happiness and,
the happiness. Yes.
What you have is joy of bringing the other person happiness when you deliver a puppy.
that is what drives me. Yes.
And for me, what drives me honestly is the hope that the advertising from this podcast and the money that it'll make, that I can do the work that I want to do and really help people off the streets and really transition
it all
to
starts
become functioning members
it
of
all
society.
starts with how we are doing right now. Bringing knowledge and bringing this.
High five.
So, yes.
We are the
Honestly.
voice.
We really are.
Yeah.
And
we really are.
And our little fur
Totally
babies who
understand
can't
that.
speak.
And on
So
that note,
that's what it is.
we'd like to bring in the little pup tank that he gave me, that I
of
bought
course.
from him
Her
actually,
new
and
best friend
Batman.
forever.
And we have a little gift for him.
AKA
Batman,
Bruce Wayne.
AKA Bruce Wayne. Come
And
on
I thought
in.
you were talking about me.
Hey, Batman. Look at that with the gold chain.
Look at
so
him.
he
Yeah.
started it all, huh?
He did. I mean,
He's
this
the man.
guy. Literally,
cute.
this boy has over 100 babies in the world. I mean, he's
can't
gotten
believe it.
busy.
I
That's
bet
all
you
I
he
can
has.
say.
Well, we have a special gift for Batman. We have our very own custom creation from Danny Boy Designs.
What?
Danny was
Nice.
kind enough to make Batman his own special little shirt. You can see it's like a little,
But real
love it.
Hella
real men
Frenchies.
wear pink.
Real Men Wear Pink, that's right. Hella Frenchies and iHeartSF. So we
love
want to
it.
give this over to Batman.
Wow,
T-shirt for him.
So awesome. Thank you. I
The
appreciate
logo.
this so
You're
much.
Yeah, that
welcome.
is
Yeah, a little
awesome.
iHeartSF and Hella Frenchies, kind of a little combination here. I think
We
it's really
really
cute. It's our new
appreciate
dog line. Yeah.
I'm definitely need a few of those.
You definitely will.
Not for me, but for my guy.
For your real, would you say real dogs wear pink?
Real
Exactly.
dogs wear pink.
Pink it is. So thanks,
Definitely.
Danny, from Danny Boy Designs. We really appreciate you. In fact, we also want to introduce Tank, the little pup that I got from you. Come on, Tank, come on in.
Shoot,
This
here
cutie
comes
little
Tank.
patootie. Oh my goodness, look at this little cutie patootie. Look how cute that is.
And by the way, the moment that I saw this little boy, I said, he's gonna be a tank, and it stuck. Because I told his mom, I said, "Hey, you can name him whatever you want, because he's your boy, but he's gonna be a tank."
He sure is.
It stuck.
He sure is. He sure is. He is the cutest little thing. Oh my God, he really has changed my life. I mean, honestly. And I actually have a different view about breeders now. I have a new perspective because this is my fourth dog. I've had other pups, and I've always gotten them from shelters. And, I never really thought about getting a dog from a breeder. It just wasn't a thing for me. But, somehow the universe led me to you.
It's the most heartwarming thing when I
really
hear that
is.
from somebody, because
really?
that means I did my job, and I know that
It just
I
means
put
that
him in the right
we're
hands.
actually doing what our vision. We're actually.
You really are.
It's happening, right? Like our
Yeah.
vision and what we want.
Happened for me.
That is what we want. We want people to change their perspective on breeders, because if you're just buying dogs, like I myself, I have shelter dogs of my own.
Right.
But for the reason of why I started breeding is I wanted to make sure that people had the availability to the healthiest dogs available,
That's right.
the ones that are going to
right.
be there for the years and provide them with that.
That's right.
And,
Life.
Immeasurable amount
Right.
of happiness
That's
that
right.
they're going to provide.
He doesn't want to sit on me anymore. Well,
So-
that's exactly right. And that is, why you chose Cesar, why
Yes,
I
that's-
chose Cesar, and why Hella Frenchies is the go-to when you want a hella cute little pup like this. So thank you
exactly.
for joining us today. We hope we've changed your perspective on responsible breeding, and we appreciate your time. But one thing I'd like to do before we leave is really to say thank you to all the people that have helped put this together today. Like I said, iHeartSF was an art project born more than 15 years ago with a love of tattoo and graffiti art. Myself, I'm actually quite heavily tattooed. And, if you're ever looking for somebody, Black Heart Tattoo, see Scott and the gang over there. But
I'm the tattoo of Tank.
yeah, he's
So you better call him.
Yeah, I need
You
to do
do.
that. No, but I think what I was trying to say was that, iHeartSF is here to change people's perspectives, specifically homeless families, and we want to do the same in our podcasts. Podcasts on a purpose. Podcasts for a purpose, not just talking. We really want to do something interesting and put it out there into the world. And here we are. Welcome.
The biggest weapon in the world is knowledge.
It really is.
So-
For people, for the
For
animals,
anything.
for the homeless to transition, knowledge is
And that's the only way we're going to make change and
Absolutely.
change people's
I mean-
perspective is throughout knowledge for things that people don't understand or take
That's so true.
granted for.
And we are the voice of the people and of our babies right here.
That
So
no, you
we
really
speak for
are.
them.
We really are. And to be honest, that's really what I want to do with the homeless families out there. Is I want to be their voice, and I want to speak for them. I knowledge is important. So yeah, thanks for joining us. By the way, we are looking for a full-time host. I'm not doing this full-time. Apply if you're interested. Contact me. We're good. That was beautiful.
That was
oh my
awesome,
God.
yeah.
God damn, I can't even believe it right now. Hey everyone, I just wanted to say thank you to all the local businesses that made this possible today. Thank you to Hella Frenchies, Danny Boy Designs, Decal SF, all my friends and family who modeled for me, and a very special thank you to Fan TV Global, JD and Dean. I couldn't have done this without you. Have a great day.
Suckers hella jealous cause you're digging me. Now what you gonna do, mama? I'm trying to dip.